The story opens on a cold, foggy morning where thick mist blankets a coastal, isolated town. Oliver, a renowned psychiatrist, drives through deserted streets on his way to his office. His tired face, sunken eyes, and unshaven beard reflect the toll of losing his daughter, Emily, who was only 8. The accident that took her life was mysterious. The car inexplicably skidded one rainy night, plunging off a cliff. The scene is eerie and silent, except for the faint static coming from the car's radio. At his office, Oliver goes through his sessions mechanically, almost on autopilot. Among his patients is Sarah, a young woman plagued by voices in her head, vividly describing feelings of abandonment, guilt, and fear. Despite his best efforts, Oliver can't focus. Something feels off. He hears a soft, familiar whisper. It sounds like Emily's voice. Alarmed, he looks around, but there's nothing. He dismisses it, attributing it to stress or the grief he hasn't fully processed yet. Days pass, and Oliver's auditory hallucinations worsen. The voices become more frequent, always whispering his name, pleading for help, crying. He begins to notice these voices appear primarily when he's with his patients. Gradually, he realizes that what these voices are saying seems connected to the pasts of his patients, details Oliver could never have known. One particular patient, Julia, a middle-aged woman struggling with severe anxiety, describes a dream about a little blonde girl. Just like Emily, Julia even describes with unsettling accuracy the color of Emily's coat the night of the accident. This event triggers something in Oliver. He digs deeper into the lives of his patients and discovers a chilling pattern. Many of them have a dark history connected to the same area of the city where the accident occurred, near an old, abandoned psychiatric hospital. The place has long been rumored to be haunted by tragedies of the past, but Oliver had always dismissed such stories, preferring to trust in science. The fog in the town seems to grow thicker and more oppressive, surrounding Oliver in a mental fog as well. As he investigates further, he starts to suspect that Emily's accident wasn't just a coincidence. The psychiatric hospital, shut down decades ago, has a history of abuse, inhumane experiments, and mind control practices involving children. Oliver decides to visit the abandoned hospital, convinced that answers lie there. The atmosphere is oppressive. The fog seems denser here, muffling sounds and warping vision. The place is eerily quiet, but Oliver feels a presence, as though he's being watched. Inside the decaying building, he finds old records detailing experiments on mind manipulation, performed on children highly sensitive to external influences. His heart skips a beat as he reads the files. His daughter's surname, Thompson, appears repeatedly in the reports. Amid this discovery, Oliver hears Emily's voice again, this time clearer than ever. She's calling to him, crying for help. Desperate, he follows the sound to an old containment room, its iron door creaking as he opens it. Inside, he sees a childlike figure in the shadows, but as he approaches, he realizes it's not his daughter. The figure is not human. The entity begins speaking to him in Emily's voice, revealing that it has been feeding off his grief since the accident, manipulating his mind and the minds of his patients. The entity isn't his daughter, it's something far older, a being that was unleashed by the experiments in the hospital, attaching itself to vulnerable minds through trauma. The revelation shatters Oliver. Terror grips him as the entity takes the form of his worst memories, distorting his sense of reality. The hospital seems to come alive, with walls contorting, shadows twisting into grotesque shapes. Oliver runs through the hallways, trying to hold on to his sanity. But the entity keeps speaking in Emily's voice, alternating between sweet words and terrifying threats. At the peak of the horror, Oliver faces the truth. He's trapped in a cycle of guilt, manipulated by the entity from the very beginning. The entity has been feeding on the trauma of his daughter's death, and now it's about to take full control of his mind, making him forget entirely what is real and what is illusion. In the end, Oliver finds himself back at the place where it all started, the road where the accident happened. The fog remains thick, and he no longer knows if he's awake or trapped in a nightmare. The voices in his head are relentless, but he notices something new. They're not just Emily's voice, but the voices of all the entity's victims over the years. In a final act of clarity, Oliver decides to put an end to it. He returns to the psychiatric hospital and sets it ablaze, hoping to destroy the place where the entity resides. As the flames consume the building, Oliver hears Emily's voice one last time, soft and real, as though she is finally at peace. The fire devours the hospital, and though Oliver survives physically, his mind is lost in the fog. It remains unclear whether he truly escaped the entity or if his sanity has been permanently corrupted by the terror.